Welcome. Thank you for joining me for marketing your books on a budget in a pandemic. It's a scary time for us. We as authors don't have the ability to go out and meet our public as we usually do, so we've got to find some creative ways to do the marketing that's going to get us out there in front of them. That's what this session is about. And I thank you for joining me. This pandemic is not going to last forever. While it does, we have a chance to strategize, to plan our marketing, to be ready to sell our books when we can get back out there. The truth is, every author has to be a salesperson. Whether you're traditionally published, self-published, or somewhere in between, you have to be out there marketing your book. And that's what we're going to do today, is talk about ways to market your book. First off, the foundation of everything we're going to talk about is an excellent book. So make sure that your book, the book that you're putting out there and marketing, is the very best that you can create. The absolute best product. It's important. It really is. If you don't have a good product, the word of mouth is not going to be favorable. Repeat customers will be non-existent. You're selling not only your current book, but the future books. So make this one as good as it can be. You may wonder what gives me the authority to speak on this. I mean, I'm not a New York Times best-selling author by any means, but I do market my books, and I sell my books. Let me put it this way. While I am not yet in a position to walk away from everything else and make my full-time living writing, I'm paying for my writing. For the conferences that I attend, for the supplies that I get, for the events that I go to, I pay for it out of my writing. There's no having to subsidize it. The reason for that, the reason that I have learned these marketing tips is because I come out of real estate. I was a realtor for more than 20 years. And when you are in real estate, there is nothing that is more emphasized than marketing techniques. And that's what we're going to be using today. Some of those techniques that I've adapted over into selling books. The keys to successful marketing: consistency, quality, relationships, and visibility. Right now, the visibility is a little bit of an issue. We can't be out there in front of our public, but we can address the other items, and we can keep ourselves visible even if it's not face-to-face. So, how can we do that? Well, we want to be consistent. We want to have a quality product. We want to build those relationships so that when we can get out there again and be visible, we're ready to go. First off, solidify your brand. Whatever your brand is. And then use it to tie together your books, your marketing, everything. For example, if you're writing a series, make sure that you use the same series name on all of the books. My series of My Little Old Ladies is the LOL to the Fourth Power Mysteries. It's not anything real fancy. It's very straightforward, but it does get a lot of questions. People look at it and go, what does that mean? Well, it's little old ladies laughing out loud, living our lives with lots of love. LOL to the fourth power. If you Google the LOL to the fourth power mysteries, or just LOL4, you're going to find something about my books. That's what your brand is good for, to help people find you no matter where they're looking, whether they be in a bookstore, whether they be searching on Google, checking in social media. Use that brand and then adapt it to a hashtag. For example, mine is hashtag LOL4. When I post anything about my books, about my progress, about anything, I've got that hashtag LOL4 in it. It gives me a way to tie them together so that people can easily find them. Using a consistent hashtag across your social media, and we'll talk a little bit more about social media in a few minutes, but use that consistently, there's that consistency again, will help people build a consciousness of you. What happens with us in so many cases is we see something. It doesn't particularly catch our attention the first time. We see it again. We see it again. And finally, at some point, it starts becoming familiar. And when we look at it, it's not looking at a stranger, it's looking at somebody you know. Eventually, if they do it right, it becomes a friend. So with that in mind, be consistent in your presentation, your social media. A very inexpensive way that you can bring your information together, and one that's often overlooked by authors, is if your books are available on Amazon, you can put together an Author Central page. If you go to authorcentral.amazon.com, log in with your same login and password that you use for Amazon, you can create your Amazon author page there. Now, you have to put the same author name on all of the books, or it won't match them up. But if you've noticed on Amazon, the author's name is often a link, and if you click that link, you go to a list of the author's other books and a little bio of the author, information about them. That's because of Author Central. So if you have not yet gone to Author Central, then by all means do so, because it's going to give you a great benefit over all the authors out there who aren't bothering. Make sure all of your books are matched up to you. And if by some chance you didn't put your name in the same, maybe you put a middle initial on one that you didn't put on another, you can tell them there that that's your book, and they'll match it up for you. But be real careful. Again, that consistency comes into play. Once you claim your books on Author Central, when somebody clicks that link in Amazon, they're going to go to all of your books. And that's a good thing. Besides consistency and solidifying your brand, you want to have something to give away. Just as I'm giving away this seminar in hopes that people who see it will like it and want to hire me to come and speak to their group, you want to give them something about you. Now, make sure first it's got your contact information. Everything you give out should have your contact information. Give them a way to find you so that if they have questions about your books, if they want to know where they can get them, if they want to order them for their bookstore, whatever it may be, they know how to reach you. That's the big key. Then, think about using pictures of your cover. You've gone to all this trouble to have a beautiful cover on your book. Use that image. Make it easy for them to find that book when they go into the local bookstore, when they're looking online, whatever it may be. You want to draw their attention, and images always draw our attention far more than just text. So make sure you use those images. Some of the things that you might use to give away that don't cost a whole lot of money are things like business cards. Business cards are the least expensive way to market yourself that there is, according to my icon sales trainer, Tom Hopkins. Now, this is a man who built a multi-million-dollar real estate business. Then he went on and built a multi-million-dollar marketing business, teaching people how to market real estate. Business cards, have them with you always. Give them out. Don't be stingy with them. And for a penny or two, per card, you're able to get the word out and get your name, your image, your information out in front of people. And that's a great thing. Bookmarks and postcards are great things that you can do yourself on a home printer with a little bit of cardstock and some kind of a desktop publishing program. You can create your own. People love to get something for free. And right now, it might be something that you're planning, that you're offering online. But somewhere down the line, we're going to be back out in the public and we're going to be able to have those to give away. Have those bookmarks that have those images of your cover, your picture, your contact information, all the goodies that you can think of there on that bookmark to have it out there for you. Bookmarks are great tools. Postcards, I don't use them as postcards. Each of my novels has a recipe in the back. So I've created those postcard size versions of the recipes, and I give those out. Even people who say, oh, I don't read. Do you cook? Do you know someone who cooks? Would you like a free recipe card? And right there on the recipe card, which novel it came out of, and how to find them, how to get to my webpage. Other items that you might want to give out, something like a short story that you can print on one page of paper folded over, a poem, something about your books, anything of that nature that can give people a sample of your writing, a sample chapter, maybe the hook chapter of your novel, your book. Because if they don't know you yet, they may be a little bit concerned about spending much money on an unknown author. But if they can read a sample of your work and find that it's something that they like, then you're going to be much more likely to make a sale. Much more likely to have that be a successful connection for you. Don't forget kids. If you write for children or if you are in venues where there will be children, have something for them. It can be a coloring page. It can be a puzzle. Maybe you make a find a word puzzle for them using descriptions from your novel. Anything that's suitable for a kid that you can give out. And you print it on a half sheet of paper so you get 2 to a page. It's not expensive at all. And it helps you get the word out because, of course, at the bottom or on the back, you're going to have courtesy of your name, author of such and such, visit my webpage at, so that when the parents look at it and go, oh, what are you doing, little Johnny? Little Johnny can show them, and oh, gee, there you go. Now, I have a couple of children's books out there. I have coloring pages about the books. Don't be afraid to get creative with what you're doing. Be generous with these marketing materials. Give them to your library, give them to social groups, whatever it may be. Because if you put them together and you don't give them out, they're not doing you any good. They're not marketing for you. So have them ready, have them with you. And when you go out in public again, when the time comes that we can do that, carry your marketing materials with you. Have them ready to give out. The golden rule in real estate was you are a realtor 24/7. So always look like you're just coming from or just going to an appointment. Whether you're stopping at the grocery store, getting gas, whatever it is, you're a realtor. Have something to strike up conversation. And gee, if you're in the grocery store and there's that little kid in the basket and you say, Mom, does your child like to color? May I give you a coloring page? Oh, Mom, looks like you like to cook. May I give you a free recipe card? Whatever it may be, you want to let them know that you have something to give them, and then hopefully strike up the conversation that you're an author and that you have books out there for them to to read. And then always have copies of your books with you. Because you never know when someone's going to say, that sounds really interesting. May I buy one? Where do I get it? And you can say, right out of my trunk. Okay? Now, I promised you that we would talk more about social media use. Let's go back to that now. First question that I get is, which one should I use? And the answer is, whichever sites you're comfortable using and are willing to post to regularly. Because remember consistency. If you don't keep it up, if you don't stay in front of people, they're going to forget you. You want to build a following. You want it to be interesting posts. You want it to be things that are fun. But it's not going to happen if you don't post regularly. Which sites do I use? Well, I use a couple. I use Facebook. I use Twitter. I use Instagram, and I use Pinterest. And I use each of them a little bit differently. I use Facebook to talk about what's going on, what's happening, what's coming up. I use Twitter for little quick posts about what I'm doing, what other authors are doing. I use Instagram to show venues, to show where I am, and I also post those to Facebook. So if I'm doing a signing, I'm going to post on Instagram, hi, I'm here until, and have it out there. And then on Pinterest, I post information about my research, about my books, about what I'm doing. I have one that's authors you should read, where I put covers of my friends' books. I have one about each of my current books. What research have I done? What pictures have I taken to refresh my memory? What notes am I pursuing toward that goal? And by doing that, I can help build a little bit of interest toward the book when it comes out. Just kind of gets it out there, gets people familiar with it and looking for it. I also have a Pinterest board for events. So I post those events that I'm going to hold and which others are going to hold. Not just my own events, but conferences, meetings of book groups, that kind of thing. Anything that's a public event, I can put on there and get some publicity. The golden rule of social media is be generous in sharing and reposting the information that others put up. Add comments to their posts. Like the ones that you like. If you don't like it, just ignore it. Don't be snarky. Snarky is not good. Not good business. Be upbeat in your comments and in your own posts. Be positive about where we're going, what we're doing. Be supportive. Don't make every single post a commercial for your book. Make sure that you're telling readers information, giving them stuff, information about your community, about what's happening, about other authors, things that they can use. The progress that you're making on your work in progress. Good news about what's happening in your local community or in the writing community as a whole. Because that's going to make people more willing to follow you on social media. Because, I find out about things I want to know when I follow that author. It's not just that author saying, buy my book. Okay? Just remember, social media is social. You want to be involved in a give and take with other people. Other authors, with readers, with book clubs. And there you go. Use your hashtags in your post. Makes it easy for people to pull your post together, to find a post that you did as opposed to all the random stuff that's out there. Be sure and occasionally thank your readers in your social media and ask them to leave you reviews. It's one thing that we undervalue, I think, as public and value very much as authors. Your review means the world to me. So please, leave a review of my book. Don't give away the ending. Don't give away the content of the book, but go out there and tell people that if you liked it. Tell people what it meant to you. Did you get something from it? Are you looking forward to the next one? One of the biggest boosts that I got when my first novel came out was the reader who put in their review how much they enjoyed a Christian-based mystery. And it was a cozy, they could share it with their family and friends and not be embarrassed. Cool. I achieved my goal. So, I know some people go, oh, well, that means the people who are looking for something a little more racy aren't going to read your book. Maybe not, but I would rather them not read it and be disappointed and then go out and say it was terrible, I didn't like it, because it's not the genre they were looking for. A good review is going to help you find the right readers. So encourage your readers to leave your reviews and use your social media as a way to do it. Follow other authors, book groups, information sharing groups. There are a lot of groups out there that share each other's books, that share information about each other, share information about upcoming events. When you follow those, then you are connecting with people in the book community. Reader groups are out there too. Bookstores are out there. A lot of bookstores, especially the indies, are now using Facebook as their website. So if you're on Facebook and you connect with them, now you've got a visibility to bookstores. Remember to ask people to share your post. And it's just a couple of words. Please share, and then thank you. Or thank you for sharing. Whatever it is at the end of your post, to remind people that it's valuable to you to have them share that post. And then remember, you can offer virtual book club meetings through things like Facebook Messenger and Facebook, when it works like it ought to, video. You can offer those virtual meetings, Skype, whatever. You can connect with book clubs that aren't anywhere near you through virtual media. And by offering that online, you have a chance to build your presence with those groups. And guess what happens if you're going to be talking to a book club? They're going to buy your book to read it for the meeting. It's a good thing. Social media can do a lot toward building your presence, even when we can't go out in the world. Okay? Don't be afraid to use it. If you Google social media usage, it will give you statistics on what age group is using which media the most. Guess what? You want to connect with the one that your target age group is using. Get in there and take advantage of it. Social media, though, is not the only media that you want to take advantage of. There's also call it news media. You can use these particular sources as a contact point to help publicize what you're doing, whether it be events in the future or maybe you're donating something. Take advantage of their willingness to look for local news. So how do you do that? Well, in your email contact list, build a subset of media contacts. Now, in mine, because I am at the border of Louisiana and Mississippi, I go to both states. I belong to book groups in both states. I'm a Louisiana native who now lives in Mississippi. So I've got connections on both sides of the border. So I have a Louisiana group, I have a Mississippi group. And depending on what I'm doing, sometimes I use both, sometimes I use one or the other. But I have those media email addresses, local and regional newspapers, local and regional magazines, and I send out information about what I'm doing when I'm holding an event. Send it out to them. They don't all make it. Depending on the news flow on a given day, the space available, it may not get in every single newspaper that I send it to. Every single event that I send out won't get into a newspaper or magazine. But I send them out. I keep my name in front of the editors so that, gee, when the time comes that they're looking for a resource to do a story on the book world or whatever your topic is, they'll think of you. Okay? Keep your name in front of decision makers. Book-related websites. And there are several out there. Now, they change. I used to think I was doing a good deed by providing a list. I don't do that anymore simply because they change so often. But if you Google book events, writer events, you'll get lists of them so that you can post on them. And many of them are free simply because they want to draw traffic for people coming to see what the events are so that their ads get looked at. They can say, I have this much traffic and charge for an ad. It's a good thing. Television and radio stations. You'd be surprised. Television and radio stations often look for local interest stories about what's going on with the writing community, and they will invite you in to come and talk to them. Local focus websites and blogs are other places that you can go to send out your information. They are happy to get content. You get exposure. It's a win-win. Now, having said that, remember, it's a numbers game. Not everyone is going to do it every time. All of this media contact is a numbers game. Consistency, sending it out, is what gets you the exposure. The thing to remember is you want to send them an effective press release, something that they can just slap in the paper or on their website without having to do any editing. That means don't send out a press release that says author Mary Beth Magee will be having a book signing on whatever date. You may contact her at this number for more information. That's not going anywhere. But if I send out an email that says, for, say, Louisiana, New Orleans native Mary Beth Magee will be holding a book signing of her latest release and the name of the book at such and such a location, and give the address. Maybe not there, maybe later in the release, but make sure you give the address. On such and such a date, between such and such and such and such time. By giving it in that way, all the information, the who, what, where, when, how, and why, is right there in the first line, that lead paragraph. Then you can go on and say something about her book deals with, her book looks at, whatever the content is. Why should they publish it? Why should they publish this press release? What's in it for them? Well, maybe proceeds of this book sale will go to help a worthy cause. Or your partnership with this particular venue connects because they allowed you to use them in the book. Whatever it may be, use that, what's in it for me, to the media, so that they'll have a good reason to put it in. Be sure that you've got correct and complete information, including the full name of the venue, the address of the venue, and depending if it's in a shopping center or whatever, you might mention the name of the shopping center. And then when you do that, you're building a case for the shopping center to help publicize it, which never hurts. Always, always, always send thank you notes to everyone that you know that gives the press release. If you see it in the paper, if you see it online, whatever it is, send them a thank you note. Email is okay. Handwritten really gets their attention. Now, right now, with the virus, no, you don't want to do that. Email is the way to go. But on the other hand, once this is done, a handwritten note that they can put on their desk or on their bulletin board lets them know that you appreciated what they did, and also keeps you in front of them. You know, the more that they see your name, the more they think of you in regards to writing and books and book events, the better off you're going to be with them. Another point of marketing your book that's not going to cost you a thing is have an elevator speech ready. Now, if you've been trying to find an agent or trying to find a publisher, you probably already have one. But maybe you're in a situation where you didn't have that elevator speech put together. It's the time that it would take you to take an elevator up a couple of floors or down a couple of floors in a building. If you happen to find yourself in an elevator with that agent you wanted to reach, that publisher you wanted to reach. But that elevator speech is also helpful when you're standing in the grocery line to tell someone about your book, when you're sharing at an event. It's a concise description of why they want to look at that book. It's not the plot. It's a quick overview of what you want them to know about your book. Why should they want to read your book? Death in the Daylilies is a cozy Christian mystery that deals with two sisters and their best friend who constantly get into trouble because one of the sisters can't stop asking questions. And when they find a dead body in a bed of daylilies on a daylily driving tour, they find themselves in more trouble than they've ever been in before. There you go. An elevator speech that tells them it's a cozy Christian mystery, tells them who the protagonists are, tells them where it begins. So, if they've got any interest in daylilies, in senior citizens, in relatives, this is a book that deals with family, friends, and faith that they can get into. That elevator speech is something you'll want to use at events, definitely. However, we don't want to let that overshadow the blurb on the back of the book. Don't make it the same as the blurb on the back of the book. Because if somebody picks up that book and they're reading the back, you want them to get a little more reason to buy the book. So just throw that out there. Even though at this point in time we cannot go out to do book signings, I want to encourage you to stay in touch with potential book signing sites. Let them know that when this is over, you are ready and willing to come out and help them rebuild their business. Think about the locations that would be appropriate for a book signing. I've done book signings in some pretty weird locations. Yes, bookstores are great, but I've done them in beauty parlors. I've done them in restaurants. I've done them in, office supply stores. Anywhere that you can tie in with your book is a great place to do a book signing. So make sure that you look for those places. Think about those places, and then market yourself to those places. Right now by email, yes. But when the time comes, you want to be ready to be out there. Bookstores. Make yourself known to bookstores, particularly special interest bookstores that your book would work with, local bookstores, and independent bookstores. So look at those 3 different descriptions to look for stores that will apply to your book, where your book would be a good fit. Stay on top of public events. A lot of them are going to be rescheduling when all of this is over with. So that event, that fair, that book fair, that community fair that got canceled now may be rescheduled later in the year. So keep an eye out, stay in touch with them. Make sure you stay on their email list. Business locations, as I mentioned, that are related to your book. I was in the beauty parlor because the very first time I was mainstream published, other than periodicals, I was in an anthology, and my story in the anthology had to do with wanting to be a grown-up and having the beauty access that a grown-up has. Okay, so the beauty parlor was a perfect fit. It brought customers into them. It brought buyers to me. It was great. And it was the beauty parlor where my mom went. Now, right now, we can't go get our hair cut or any of that stuff. But the time will come when we can do it again. And it's a great way, if your book is a fit, to get in there. The restaurants, well, there's always eating going on in my books because they're Southern books. And in the South, food is as much a part of our way of life as our faith is. So, yeah, we have a lot of events that involve food. So something in a restaurant is a natural fit. Take advantage of those various topics that you can tie into to work into your particular niche within the book signing event category. It may not be a business that's connected to your book, but just a business that wants to create a buzz by hosting a local author. Go for it. You win, they win. Anything that gets you out there is a good thing. Just saying, it's not a real hard calculation to make. If it gets you in front of the public, if it gives you a chance to sell books, take advantage of it. One thing that I think is going to be really big when we get back to normalcy, whatever normalcy becomes, is our libraries. And by getting connected with the Friends of the Library groups at your various local libraries, you're going to be in a position to be invited to the things that they do to help rebuild traffic to the libraries. A lot of our libraries have closed for the duration, or at least for a time, because of the difficulty of keeping everything sanitized. So don't be afraid to contact those local libraries, and maybe you do an event where you donate part of the profits from your book to the Friends of the Library. Maybe you have an event where you are donating copies of your book to the library. Great photo op, great press release to the newspapers. Take advantage of it. Don't be afraid to reach out. The worst that can happen is they can say, no, I can't do that right now, or I'm not interested. They're not going to send the book signing event police out to get you. Take advantage of opportunities. And sometimes taking advantage of those opportunities begins with you creating those opportunities. So don't be afraid to make contact with them. Be ready to explain to them when you approach them why they should schedule a book signing with you. Pretty straightforward. It'll help draw attention to their business. It will help draw traffic. It will possibly bring in people who weren't there before. You'll help them, because of course you will, right? By advertising on your social media and on your website, whatever process you use, that you'll be there. So it'll get the name of their business out. It's going to help make them more visible, help draw traffic. Cars in the parking lot tend to draw more cars because a place that's doing business tends to get more business. You know, when you're out on the road looking for a place to eat, do you go to the restaurant that has no cars, or do you look for the cars in the parking lot and go, oh, there are a lot of people there, it must be good food? You know, same principle. We can draw people to that store, draw cars to their parking lot, then we are helping them as well as ourselves. And remember, you are a small business. And we will be small businesses helping each other recover from this pandemic. That's why I want to get together with you, Mr. Business Owner, Mrs. Business Owner, so that we can help each other and we can rebuild together. The fact of the matter is, this pandemic is not going to last forever. While we can take advantage of the time to stage our marketing, we'll kick it into full gear once it's over and we can get back into the public. For now, those of us who have been out there a while, we want to stay visible. We want to keep people thinking about us. Those of us who are just getting started, we want to start building that visibility so that when the time comes, we're going to be able to be somebody familiar. Somebody that isn't a stranger trying to grab their money, but somebody that, oh yes, that writer, I remember. That's someone who does good work. I've read their posts on Facebook or on whatever, and I like the way they write. I like the way they look at the world. I like the way they put things. That's what's going to help build you a business marketing your book in the future. Remember too, let them know where your books are available. Let them know that even though I can't come out and do a book signing right now, you can get them at the online stores. What formats are they available in? What possibilities are there out there for them? That's what you want to look at. Thank you again for your interest in it. And remember, if once this is all over, if this is something that you think your group would like to have presented live, I'd be glad to come out and do it for them. Just contact me. You'll see my contact information on a slide at the end of this video, just in case you deleted the email. You'll have it ready to go. Thanks again. Keep writing. Keep marketing your writing. And I look forward to seeing you at the next event when we all get back to normal.